Now to the latest on Sandra Bland, the woman who was found dead in a Texas jail cell 3 days after being arrested during a traffic stop. Police have released new video from outside her cell around the time she died, as her family awaits the results of that private autopsy. ABC's Ryan Smith has been tracking the case for us. Good morning, Ryan.
Good morning, Robin. Authorities say they believe Sandra Bland's death was a tragic accident and not one of criminal intent, but they also add they're viewing this like they would a murder investigation and now releasing video from inside the jail where she was held during the last moments of her life.
This morning, authorities say this newly released jailhouse video shows the moments police officers realized Sandra Bland was dead, hanging in her cell, a garbage bag around her neck. The 3-hour surveillance tape shows little activity in the hallway leading to Bland's cell. But watch as this officer goes to check on her, looks through a window, and runs back to the main jail area to summon help.
This is being treated like a murder investigation.
The Texas Rangers now investigating how she died after being arrested in this routine traffic stop. Police placed her in this area of jail cells. You can't see her, but they claim her health was intact.
There were no reported injuries by Miss Bland. No additional medical treatment was requested.
And less than 3 hours before her death, authorities say jailers conducted their rounds.
A jailer personally spoke with Miss Bland. Miss Bland reported to this jailer, "I'm fine."
Later, she asked about making a phone call, one never made. It would be their last conversation with her. An hour later, a guard comes to Sandra's cell.
The jailer looked through the window and observed Miss Bland hanging from her privacy partition in her cell.
But this video still leaving her family with more questions than answers.
Wasn't much of anything there, so of course that still was lingering questions. I will tell you that what I think it shows is that it's clear that something's wrong.
And while a coroner listed Sandra's cause of death as suicide, authorities say they're not so sure.
So it is too early to make any kind of determination that this was a suicide or a murder.
Police say they expect to release dash cam video of the arrest today, and they're downloading data from Sandra's phone indicating she was recording the incident. As for her family, they're hoping private autopsy results expected today will help solve the mystery of her death, George.
Okay, Ryan, thanks very much. Let's talk to Dan Abrams about this right now. So the police treating this like a murder investigation, but no evidence that anyone went in the cell.
That's right. So you have the sheriff and the coroner deeming this to be a suicide. But in essence, what the district attorney is saying is, yeah, I know that that's their position, but I'm still going to do an independent investigation here to determine could there be something else. Meaning, you can still look, for example, at the plastic bag. Were there fingerprints? Were there DNA? These are important questions that need to be answered. And by the DA coming out and saying, I'm going to look at this as if it was a murder investigation, he's saying this isn't over. And I'm pretty sure he's going to end up handing this to a grand jury to ultimately make that decision.
And that's why the autopsy is so important, but also the release of this dash cam video.
Right. So the dash cam video is from when she's arrested. We're expecting that to be released today. It's a somewhat separate issue, right, as to why she was arrested. Did the police behave properly when she was arrested? But that'll be more important in any civil lawsuit that she may file against the police department than necessarily in the murder investigation.
And why she spent 3 days in jail as well.
That's right.
Okay, Dan Abrams, thanks very much.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Scary Parre podcast. So this episode, just want to give us a disclaimer here. This episode discusses death, racism, police interactions, suicide, and public speculation. Some theories discussed are internet speculation or unresolved public claims and should not be treated as established fact. The episode distinguishes verified facts from speculation wherever possible. So I hope you guys enjoy it. A routine traffic stop, a cigarette, an argument, 3 days in jail, and then a woman who was supposed to be starting a brand new job is found dead in her jail cell. Officials ruled it as a suicide. Millions of Americans weren't convinced. Was justice served, or was the truth buried before anyone had a chance to find it? Tonight, we are reopening one of America's most controversial deaths, the Sandra Bland case. Welcome to the Scary Perry podcast. I hope you guys are here for a good time with me. Come on over to the Scary Perry podcast YouTube page if you're not already over here. Interact with the comments, put some of your theories in the comments as well. But mindful, let's just be respectful as well, as this is a case that involves someone who has passed away. So let's just be respectful of their family and their family members as well. Let's go ahead and get started. So segment 1, who was Sandra Bland? Let's put her picture up there. Oh, she's beautiful. She's beautiful. So before Sandra Bland became a national headline, Sandra Bland was simply Sandra. Born on February 7th, 1987 in Illinois, friends described her as funny, outspoken, intelligent, passionate, and fearless. She wasn't afraid to challenge justice. On social media, she frequently discussed racism, police brutality, civil rights, and Black empowerment. She had graduated from Prairie View A&M University and was returning to Texas in July 2015 after accepting a new position there. She was excited. She had packed up her life and she had dreams, but instead, within days, all of that would have come to a drastic end. Let's talk about the traffic stop for a second. So typically when you're going for a traffic stop, right? When you're getting pulled over, of course, when anybody gets pulled over, they are frustrated. I got pulled over a couple months back, and when I tell you I was irritated with myself, I was over there, but in the same breath, I was also trying to understand what I did wrong. All while the police officer was coming up to the window, right? So pulled over, whoop, whoop, parked the car. As he's getting out the car, the first thing I'm thinking was, what did I do? Was I speeding? Did I forget to turn on my turn signal? Did I merge? Did I swerve? Like, I'm instantly thinking all of what could have happened, right? By the time he gets up to the window, the police officer, I had a nice police officer. He said, "Good morning, ma'am. How are you doing?" "I'm good. How are you? Do you know why I pulled you over today?" "I absolutely do not know why you pulled me over." "Well, you were going 87 in a 70. "You said 87 and a 70? My bad. My bad." And we just talked it out, got the ticket, things like that. But in this case, this traffic stop, and I'm going to show the video of the traffic stop as well. So you guys, let's talk about it. Let's see what we see. So on July 10, 2015, Sandra had just arrived to Texas. While driving through Waller County, a state trooper noticed she changed lanes without signaling. That became the first reason for the stop. Okay, so that was the first reason. Everything appeared routine. The officer approached her vehicle. Sandra was polite. She provided license, registration, insurance. The interaction seemed ordinary. And then everything changed. Okay, here's what changed. The cigarette. Yes, you heard me say it. The cigarette, right? The thing that you go in. Well, not that, but that one, the cigarette. The trooper noticed Sandra smoking. He asked her to put it out. Sandra responded no. Legally, she was inside her own vehicle. Smoking wasn't illegal. Smoking a cigarette is not illegal. The officer then ordered her out of her car, and Sandra questioned why. This is where the conversation quickly escalated. And at this point, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to play the video for you guys.
Okay, ma'am. You okay?
I'm waiting on you. This is your job. I'm waiting on you. What do you want me to
Oh,
do?
you seem very irritated.
I am. I really am, because I feel like it's crap for what I'm getting a ticket for. I was getting out of your way. You were speeding up, tailing me. So I move over, and you stopped me. So, yeah, I am a little irritated, but that doesn't stop you from giving me a ticket. So, let's continue. 37, come out.
Are you done?
You asked me what was wrong, and I told you.
Okay.
So now I'm done, yeah.
Okay. You mind putting out your cigarette, please? Don't mind.
I'm in my car. Why do I have to put out my cigarette?
Well, you can step on out now.
I don't have to step out of my car.
Step out of the car.
Why am I...
Step
no,
out of the car.
No, you don't have the right.
Step out of the car.
You do not have the right to do that.
I do have the right. Now step out or I will remove you.
I refuse to talk to you other than to identify myself.
Step out or I will remove you.
I am getting removed for a failure.
Step out or I will remove you. I'm giving you a lawful order. Get out of the car now, or I'm going to remove you.
And I'm calling my lawyer.
I'm going to yank you out of here.
Okay, you're going to yank me out of my car?
Get out.
Okay, all right.
25.
Let's do this.
Yeah, we're going to.
Yeah, don't touch me.
Get out of the car.
Don't touch me. I'm not under arrest. You don't have the right to take me out of my car.
You are under arrest.
I'm under arrest for what?
25,
for what?
47 County FM 1098. Just
For what?
290. Send me another unit. Get out of the car. Another unit, FM 1098. Get out of the car now.
Why am I being apprehended? You're trying to give me a ticket
I
for
said
your
get
failure?
out of the car.
Why am I being apprehended? You
I'm
just
giving you
opened
a
my
lawful
car
order.
door. You just
I'm going
opened my
to
car
drag you
door.
out of here.
So you threatening to drag me out of my own car.
Get out of the car.
And then you
I will
stun
light
me?
you up. Get out.
Wow.
Now.
Wow.
Get out of the car.
Really, for a failure to signal. You're doing all of this for a
Get
failure
over
to
there.
Right, yeah. Yeah, let's take this to court. Let's do
Go
it.
ahead.
For a failure to signal. Yep, for a failure to signal.
Get off the phone.
On my school.
Get off the phone.
I'm not on the phone.
Oh, okay. Yes, that escalated quick. That officer had no patience. And personally, I feel like it I feel like it escalated before the cigarette because you could tell she was clearly irritated. She even said she was irritated. And I feel like the officer, knowing that she was irritated, kind of like poked at her, like poked the bear, like, are you okay? Are you fine? No, I'm not fine. You just pulled me over for a ticket. And according to her in this video, she said the reason why she moved over in the manner of which she moved over without the turn signal is because he was speeding up behind her. So she was trying to get out of the way. So essentially, by that, essentially, she was in her mind, let me get out the way. This police car is speeding up behind me. I need to get out the way. So that's why she was so irritated, was because, bro, you're speeding up behind me. I'm getting out of your way, but yet I'm getting the ticket. And then not only that, that was a lot to unpack. He definitely didn't have any patience. Let's start there. And then my question is, if she's smoking a cigarette in her car, I understand if she was being blatantly disrespectful and like puffed a cigarette and blew it in his face, which she didn't do that. And we would have known if she did that because that would have been something else. He would have been like, don't blow your cigarette smoke in my face. It would have been that. But instead, he does ask her to put out the cigarette. She does respond no, because within her legal right, she doesn't have to. She's in her car. She doesn't have to put out the cigarette. Where it didn't need to escalate was him telling her to get out the car because she's under arrest. What is she under arrest for? What exactly did she do? Not put out a cigarette? What exactly did she do? Like make this make the most entire sense. So Sandra was arrested for assault on a public servant. Now, hear me out. Hear me out. Okay. So the assault on the public servant, when he goes in that car to try to yank her out, if y'all see how he kind of like jolts back, you can't see her hand, but he's dodging a hit. So that's why she got that charge for the assault on a public servant. But in her defense, in her full line of defense, I would have swung back too. Why are you trying to pull me out of the car when I didn't do anything? You have yet to say you are under arrest. You have yet to say this is why we are putting you under arrest. You have yet to lay out all the facts. You're just upset with me because I did not want to put out my cigarette. So now you're reaching in the car and talking about, I will yank you out of it. And then you pull out what appears to be, it looks like a gun, but I can't confirm if it was the taser gun or if it was his accidental, or if he pulled out his taser gun, or if his actual gun. I cannot confirm or deny. But for him to say, I'll light you up, I can only put two and two context together and say that it was more than likely his taser gun. So yes, and I'm just reading this comment from TikTok here. Someone says, I mean, complied by getting out the car, then following up at the station. Yes, however, and I get what people are saying when they say she could have just complied and followed the rules of getting out the car. But when the officer is telling you to get out the car because you didn't put out your cigarette, and it's not like you were being disrespectful with the cigarette, it's kind of hard to take all of that into account of just complying. You're already irritated because you thought you were doing your due diligence of getting out the way because this officer was zooming up behind you. So you're trying to get out of their way to begin with. You get out their way, they're pulling you over for not using a turn signal to get out of their way. And then what's supposed to be a traffic stop of you getting a ticket turns into that police officer forcefully trying to yank you out the car over a cigarette. Like, do we need to rewatch the video? Like, it's so crazy. So, the arrest. Let's talk about the arrest. Sandra was arrested for assault on a public servant, resisting arrest. She was transported to the Waller County Jail. Her bond was set at $5,000. Unable to post bail immediately, she remained in custody. Several phone calls recordings were later released where she sounded frustrated, she sounded angry, but she also talked about getting out. She discussed making bail, making bond, and she discussed starting work. Nothing in those calls clearly suggested that she abandoned her future. She called her friends, she called family, and like I said, there were several phone call recordings that were later released where she was just frustrated with the situation and angry, but I would be too. How am I in this predicament? Like, y'all have to think about it. She came back to a town where she graduated from college. She graduated Prairie View A&M. She's starting a job at her alumni. So it's not like she's just out here just lollygagging, doing whatever. No, she's excited to start her life over and start anew. And unfortunately, she's getting pulled over. She got pulled over, right? Got pulled over, got yanked out of the car, got threatened with a taser gun over a cigarette. My eye just twitched. That just sent me. So, question. This is a question for TikTok and also a question for everybody on the Twitch and YouTube. Put your response in the comments below. If someone argues with an officer, does that automatically justify everything that follows? Or should every escalation still be judged independently? So this goes back to that commenter on TikTok that said she should have just complied and then followed up with everything at the station. I hear you. But again, if someone argues with an officer, does that justify everything that follows? And I mean everything. Does that follow everything? Dan says, this definitely feels like a racial, it has a racial element into it. Okay, I can see that. Let me go through some more of these comments here. We got quite a few. Gaming Heaven 100 says, come on now, everyone gets irritated when they get pulled over. Yes, even the police officers get irritated when they get pulled over. They just say, I'm officer such and such, and it seems like it goes away. Shout out to you on the Twitch side for using those emotes. Dan said, I would have questioned the arrest as well. Terrifying Paranomalies tapped in, and they said all this over a cigarette. Crazy work. The Get It Off Your Chest podcast also tapped in and noted that there was a gun pulled. We aren't entirely for certain if there was a gun pulled or if that was the taser gun. They make them both look exactly the same now for fear. Cotton Candy on the TikTok side, hello, said everybody isn't mentally enslaved to the system. And that is true. Everybody is not mentally enslaved to the system. All right, let's go ahead and let's get into segment number 4. Y'all ready? Are y'all ready? Okay. Before we get into segment number 4, I do have another video that I would like for us to play that involves segment 3, where she made those phone calls and everything like that. And Dan's comment is so true, and so is Game in Heaven 100. He said, even if it was a taser, you had no right. And Dan says, since when does failure to comply equal death? There were no grounds for arrest. None. No grounds for arrest. Let's go ahead and we're going to play this video.
Now the county judge says they are releasing all of the video they have from the Friday afternoon when she was booked all the way up until the moments before officials found her dead in her cell Monday morning. Says they're doing all of this to prove that for the weekend she was alive and well under their care. Now the judge says the video you're looking at was taken the Friday afternoon of Bland's arrest around 5:30. This was shortly after she arrived at the jail. After about a 12-minute intake process, which shows Bland, the DPS trooper who arrested her, and the Prairie View police officer who provided backup all in one room together, the county judge says the video then shows that female Prairie View officer leading Bland to the bathroom. While the officer waits outside, Bland changes into her orange jumpsuit and is then led to her holding cell. Then several hours later, the judge says she was woken up to take her mugshot.
I'm just pointing out that perhaps maybe the fact that she was sleeping right before the mugshot may have something to do with her appearance in the mugshot. But I'll let that speak for itself. Of all the footage that we've seen here today, there's no footage that indicates to me that Miss Bland was treated unfairly or was mishandled or mistreated in any way, shape, or form while she was in the Waller County Jail.
Shortly after her mugshot, the video then shows Bland making a 7-minute-long phone call from the booking area, which the judge says was to LaVon Mosley, a friend that she was staying with. The next afternoon, after receiving her bond, he then says the video shows Bland making or trying to make 5 or 6 calls lasting 22 minutes total and having what he calls an animated conversation, though he says he does not know who she made those calls to. Now, the county judge also told us that none of the videos have audio and all of them are motion activated. He also says that DVR in which they were recorded on was kept under lock and key and only exported to the FBI. So he says they have not been altered in any way whatsoever.
Thoughts, chat. Anybody got any thoughts they want to tap into with that video with before we hit our segment 4 about the 3 days later? Anybody else got some thoughts on that? My thoughts on that was that, so that video was released. That video was released when the internet got her mugshot photos. That video was released when, like I said, the internet received her mugshot photos, and we began making internet speculations, right? We began making internet speculations that in that mugshot, it looked like she had been laying down. I remember when this case broke and that mugshot got released, people were on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok saying that this mugshot looks like that she was already dead in this mugshot. They had been laying down and stuff like that. So these videos got released when all of that information came out. This was more so the Waller County Jail and the police department trying to cover them and cover their tracks. Like, nah, during her mugshot, she was well alive. And as you guys can see, let me show you the video again.
Now the county judge says they are releasing all of the video they have from the Friday afternoon when she was booked all the way up until the moments before officials found her dead in her cell Monday morning. Says they're doing all of this to prove that for the weekend she was alive and well under their care. Now the judge says the video you're looking at was taken the Friday afternoon of Bland's arrest around 5:30. This was shortly after she arrived at the jail. After about a 12-minute intake process, which shows Bland, the DPS trooper who arrested her, and the Prairie View police officer who provided backup all in one room together, the county judge says the video then shows that female Prairie View officer leading Bland to the bathroom. While the officer waits outside, Bland changes into her orange jumpsuit and is then led to her holding cell. Then several hours later, the judge says she was woken up to take her mugshot.
Okay, So y'all saw in that video there where she's actually walking to the mugshot area. So that's why the Waller County Police Department and jail system, that's why they put out that interview in these video recordings, because they had to debunk our internet theory, which they're within their right to do that. But it still doesn't account for the fact that 3 days later, on July 13th, so Miss Bland, Sandra Bland, got arrested July 10th. On July 13th, just 3 days after the arrest, jail staff reported finding Sandra hanging in her cell using a plastic trash bag. Emergency responders attempted life-saving measures, but she was still pronounced dead. Officials ruled the death a suicide. The news spread rapidly across America, and people immediately questioned everything. And I mean everything. Why do you guys think everybody started questioning her death? Put that in the chat. Let me know what your theories are on that. Why do you feel like everything with her was rejected? Sorry, having technical issues. Why do you guys think that this case was one of those that people questioned? Why was that a thing? This is where facts end and public skepticism begins. Several issues filled doubt. 1, she had just accepted a new job. 2, she had recently relocated. 3, friends said she sounded frustrated but future oriented. 4, the arrest appeared to escalate quickly from a minor traffic stop. And 5, questions arose about jail procedures, including welfare checks and mental health screenings. Those concerns fueled widespread debate, even though they do not by themselves establish foul play. So let me just be completely transparent and real with you guys here. There has not been a solid motive of foul play that was established by news outlets, by police county county jail systems. There was not. There has not been anything solid and concrete about foul play speculation. I want to put that out there. Dan says, why would she unalive herself with everything going on in her life? A recent college graduate, so much to live for. And Parre, you said something to the fact that she had an anti-police sentiment. Yes. So that was a theory that I had. I did have the theory of, because she was so outspoken with anti-police, and or she wasn't anti-police, she was more so anti-injustice. She wanted people to get justice and be rightfully treated and be treated as human. She wanted everybody to be accountable for their decisions as far as the justice system. So at one point I've had a theory of, well, did they know who did they know who she was before entering Waller County? Like, why is she being pulled over for getting out of the way? And then why is she being so aggressively arrested for a cigarette? So it's like, did they know who she was? And now we're trying to kind of, but that's all just a speculation, all just a theory. So don't get in the comments trying to tussle with me. It's not, I promise you, it ain't that. It is not that. So let's talk about the investigation. Authorities from multiple agencies investigated. Evidence reviewed included the surveillance video, cell records, medical findings, interviews, body camera footage, and the official medical examiner ruled Sandra Bland died by suicide through hanging. All right, this is where I wanted to get to, because now the gears are starting to gear. The brain is starting to process and starting to put 2 and 2 together to possibly get 4. Okay, so hear me out. She hung herself with a plastic trash bag. Where is she getting a heavy duty trash bag in the jail cell? I mean, I personally never have been to jail before. I can't speak on what the jail cell looks like. But, thanks. But, where is she getting that heavy duty trash bag? Because let's think about it, right? She's not going to be using a plastic trash bag to do that because that's not going to sustain her weight, right? So a plastic trash bag, a Walmart bag, if we want to be technical, is not going to sustain the weight. It barely sustains the weight of a carton of eggs. So it's not going to sustain the weight of a human. So she couldn't have did it with that. And they found her hanging with that bag, right? With a heavy duty trash bag. As a inmate at the time in the booking process system, right? Where is she getting that? At the Waller County Jail. Make that make sense. Make it make sense. I'll wait. If you have some theories, put it in the comments. Don't be scared. Let's just have a conversation. Let's make it make sense. That's how they found her. Her life didn't say anything about she wanted to offer. It didn't. It didn't. And that's something that we cannot continue to dismiss. Yes, she was frustrated. She was in a frustrating situation. You don't expect to move to a new city, get arrested, get pulled out of your car with a taser gun over a cigarette. Then your bond is $5,000. Like, what? The bond is $5,000. I just moved to a new city. I don't have this. So now I have to make all these abundant phone calls. And they even said during the phone call, she had said that, like, yes, her phone calls were animated. She was sad. She was upset. But she was also talking about how she was still going to start her new job, how she was going to get out, how she was bonding out. All of that was said in these phone calls. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Game Me Heaven 100 says, you're doing great, by the way. Thanks. Dan says, facts. Perry's always bringing the facts on anything she's talking about. Thanks, Dan. So it's just like one of those things where it's like, let's kind of sit back for a minute. Let's take everything to account and let's make the math and make sense. Not only that, if the medical examiner is ruling her death as a self-brought on situation, then why did that man get up in that news interview and said that they were treating it as a murder investigation? Oh, but we just dismissed that, right? We just dismissed it and took it for what it was, right? So because and my theory, and again, this is just my theory. Again, this is just my theory. So don't get in the comments and try to tussle with me. If he's saying that they're treating it as a murder investigation, he's now putting the facts of how did she get access to the trash bag? How was she able to hang herself? Like, is the math not mathing for us? Are we not putting 2 and 2 together to get 4? Are we not putting what? Are we not putting 3 plus 3 to get 6 and then carry the 1 to get the 7? All right. No, but like, come on now. Make it make sense. All right, let's go ahead and let's jump on into segment number 7, the internet theories, which is my favorite part of the show of Scary Perry, where we dive into the internet theories and see where some of them can make sense or where some of them don't. So if you have made it this far, I appreciate you for tapping into the Scary Perry podcast. We're getting ready to dive into some of these internet theories. So let's go ahead and get started. These are theories that circulated online and are not established facts. These are theories that circulated online and are not established facts. Let me say it one more time for the people in the back. who like to tussle with me in my comments. These are theories that are circulated online, and they are not established facts. Theory number 1. Sandra was killed inside the jail. Supporters questioned the official timeline and pointed to perceived irregularities, and no investigation has sustained this claim. That's a theory. We all know why that's a theory. I just broke down why I feel like that's a theory, because how did she have access to what she was murdered with and all this stuff? We just broke that down. So we're not going to revisit, but we just broke that down. Theory number 2. A cover-up to protect law enforcement. This theory argues agencies coordinated to conceal misconduct. Again, no public evidence has conclusively proven such a theory. I personally feel like this is a strong theory, because if we watch that video of that traffic stop, that officer his conduct was definitely not where it should have been during that traffic stop. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead, for those of us who missed it, let's just kind of bring it back up.
Okay, ma'am. You okay?
I'm waiting on you. This is your job. I'm waiting on you. What do you want me to
Oh,
do?
you seem very irritated.
I am. I really am, because I feel like it's crap for what I'm getting a ticket for. I was getting out of your way. You were speeding up, tailing me. So I move over and you stopped it. So yeah, I am a little irritated, but that doesn't stop you from giving me a ticket. So let's continue.
Are you done?
You asked me what was wrong, and I told you.
Okay.
So now I'm done, yeah.
Okay. You mind putting out your cigarette, please? Don't mind.
I'm in my car, but I have to put out my cigarette.
Well, you can step on out now.
I don't have to step out of my car.
Step out of the car.
Why am I...
Step out of the car.
No, you don't have the right.
Step out of the car.
You do not have the right to do that.
I do have the right. Now step out or I will remove you.
I refuse to talk to you other than to identify myself.
Step out or I will remove you.
I am getting removed for a failure.
Step out or I will remove you. I'm giving you a lawful order. Get out of the car now, or I'm going to remove you.
And I'm calling my lawyer.
I'm going to yank you out of here.
Okay, you're going to yank me out of my car?
Get out.
Okay, all right.
25.
Let's do this.
Yeah, we're going to.
Yeah, don't touch me.
Get out of the car.
Don't touch me. I'm not under arrest. You don't have the right to take me out of my car.
You are under arrest.
I'm under arrest for what?
2547 County FM 1098. Just
for
north
what?
of 290. Send me another unit. Get out of the car.
Another unit FM 1098.
Get out of the car now.
Why am I being apprehended? You trying to give me a ticket
I
for
said
your
get
failure?
out of the car.
Why am I being apprehended? You
I'm
just
giving you a
opened my
lawful
car
order.
door. You just
I'm
opened
going
my
to
car
drag you
door.
out of here.
So you threatening to drag me out of my own car?
Get out of the car.
And then you
I will
stun
light
me?
you up. Get out.
Wow.
Now.
Wow.
Get out of the
Really,
car.
for a failure to signal. You doing all of this for
Get
a failure
over there.
Right, yeah. Yeah, let's take this to court. Let's do
Go
it.
ahead.
For a failure to signal. Yep, for a failure to signal.
Get off the phone.
On my school.
Get off the phone.
I'm not on the phone.
That gets tougher to watch each time, because it's like you see the escalation, you see him getting frustrated, you see her being even more frustrated. And Dan, I'm getting ready to answer your question. So Dan asked the question, Perry, would you have stepped out of the car? To answer your question, yes. Yes. And the reason why I would have stepped out of the car is because of situations like this. So, and then situations like previous cases that we've seen where the police officers have used excessive force and the individual ended up passing away. I definitely would have. Honestly, it probably would have been him opening the car door. And then that's what because I would have been like her, like, what do you mean I got to pull out my cigarette? Or what do you mean I have to put out my cigarette? I'm in my car. And then he hit you with you're under, all right. And he would have opened the door. Yes, I would have got out. I would have got out then, because I would have been very much fearful for my life. But a lot of us, we don't know Sandra Bland personally, but we do know that she was an advocate of justice and she believed in knowing her rights. And yes, Soul Brother Gaming in the building, shout out to you. He said abuse of power. She got killed knowing her rights, shaking my head. And I think that was the whole thing here. If you notice during that arrest, she says, I'm not under arrest. He says, yes, you are. What are you under arrest for? Well, what is she under arrest for? We need to know. Like, I need to know. Why are you so? And then she kind of checks him, like, all this over what was supposed to be a ticket. I'm not even supposed to be getting out this car over a ticket for a failure to put on my turn signal. And at the beginning, she's like I said, and this isn't the full traffic stop. If you guys want to look into the full traffic stop, just search up Sandra Bland traffic stop. This isn't the full traffic stop, but at the beginning of this video, she even says how she's irritated because he's telling her, like full speed telling her, and she merged or moved out of the way without a traffic signal, but she was trying to get out of his way and he still pulled her over. So it's like, man, that's crazy. So again, that was to cover up theory 2. Let's see here. Sorry, I had something come in. That was covering up theory 2. So theory 2 was a cover-up protected law enforcement. This theory argues again that agencies coordinated to conceal misconduct, but no public evidence had conclusively proven such conspiracy. After seeing that arrest video, I would have personally thought that, yeah, y'all did something to this woman to cover up his behavior, because his behavior as the arresting officer was outrageous. It was insane to watch. It should have never escalated that quickly and that fast. I'm sure if he did, and like I said, it seemed like he was poking at her from the beginning. Like, what are you upset for? What do you mean? What am I upset for? I'm getting a ticket that I don't feel like I deserve. Of course I'm frustrated. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? But I'm sure if he would have just kind of been like, yeah, here's why I arrested you. You know, sometimes it's not what you say, but it's how you're saying it, especially in a frustrating situation. Tone matters. Tone and everything matters. And if she's, yes, Gaming Heaven 100 said it perfectly. If she's not blowing smoke in your face, then, and like I said, we would have known that dash cam footage, I watched the whole arrest thing. We would have known if she was blowing that smoke in his face, because he would have felt immediately disrespected. When somebody blows smoke in y'all face, y'all feel disrespected, right? Your first thing, you're gonna go like this or something. But as a police officer, he's gonna be like, "Hey, don't blow that smoke in my face." I've seen arrests, or I've seen people interact with police and they blow smoke in the police officer's face and they're like, don't do that. Don't disrespect me. Like, they immediately call it out. So if she blew the smoke in his face, we would have known. We would have seen that in the video. But that's that on that. Let's talk about theory number 3. So theory number 3 is the traffic stop escalated because Sandra challenged authority. This theory focuses less on the death itself and more on whether the initial encounter reflected unnecessary escalation. The body camera footage remains central to this debate. So what we just watched is the meat and potatoes of that debate. The traffic stop escalated because Sandra challenged authority. She did. But to know her, and like I said, we don't know her personally, but to know her is to know her. She was an advocate for rights, for Black people's rights, for police justification, for police justice, all of that stuff. She was an advocate for that. So if you thought that she was just gonna peacefully take this ticket, especially when you pulled her over for getting out of your way, for telling her, for not. All right. So let's talk about the lawsuit and aftermath, and then we're almost done, guys. Almost done. So Sandra Bland's family filed a wrongful death lawsuit. The case eventually reached a settlement with the county. Reforms followed in Texas, including legislation commonly referred to as the Sandra Bland Act, aimed at improving jail practices, mental health procedures, and interactions with people experiencing mental health crisis. The case also became a defining moment in the national conversation about policing, accountability, and racial justice. So, Okay, hear me out. Hear me out, hear me out, hear me out, hear me out, hear me out. I'm not mad that Texas chose to reform their legislation and how they do their intake process in their jails. I'm not mad at that. What I'm upset with is that they are trying to play her mental health as the reason as to why they did that. They are trying to say that when people come in and get booked for in jail in our jail system in Texas now, we need to do more mental health procedures and we need to do more mental health evaluations before we do X, Y, and Z, so we don't have another Sandra Bland thing. No, Sandra Bland was frustrated with the situation. Yes. Again, she was frustrated because she just got a new job at Prairie View A&M, starting literally over the week or that following Monday. She just moved back. I'm frustrated because this is more money that I had to come out of my pocket. This woman was not unstable. She was very mentally sound. Y'all think she would have been able to make all those phone calls that she was making to bond out if she wasn't mentally stable? What? Like, come on. So again, I'm not mad at the Texas legislative system for wanting to incorporate more mental health procedures and interactions and people with people experiencing mental health crisis. But Sandra Bland, to call that the Sandra Bland Act, was not in a mental health crisis. She was in a frustration. Nothing alluded to the fact that she wanted to unalive herself. Nothing. And even the person, the man, the Waller County police officer or whoever he was, I believe he was the chief of police, even he said during those phone calls, she still was saying how she was going to leave, she was going to bond out, she was going to start work that Monday. Nothing alluded to her being mentally unstable. So again, not mad at Texas for making that reform. Shout out to Texas for making the reform. So that means anytime you get booked, you're doing mental, and that should be the case with all jails. I believe all jails now do that, where they do the mental health evaluations and all that stuff, and ask you, do you feel like you're failing and all that good stuff, whatever. Nothing alluded that for her. So the fact that they are naming that and they're trying to cover up what happened as a mental health crisis is insane. It is really insane. So let's go ahead and let's do the final thoughts. Sandra Bland's case remains one of the most discussed deaths involving law enforcement in modern America. While official investigations concluded she died by suicide, many people continue to question how a routine traffic stop led to a jail cell only days before she was expected to begin a new chapter in life. Regardless of where listeners stand on the unanswered questions, the case continues to shape conversation about policing, jail oversight, mental health care, and public accountability. Sometimes the scariest stories aren't about haunted houses, they're about real life. Sandra Bland's name still echoes through conversations about justice because one simple question remains: how did a failure to turn signal become a national tragedy? So, what do you think happened? Drop your theories respectfully in the comments and subscribe to the Scary Perry podcast. And remember, sometimes the most terrifying mysteries don't hide in the dark. They happen in broad daylight. I want to thank you guys so much for tapping into the Scary Perry podcast. If you feel compelled to, make sure you subscribe to the Scary Perry podcast on the YouTube page. You can also follow the Perry Plays channel on Twitch and subscribe for more content, as well as gaming. And all my Scary Perry podcasts will be filmed on Twitch as well. You can also follow me on TikTok at Official Therapy, where I go live on talk to the guys about the case. We do a pre-show and all that good stuff. So again, thank you so much for tuning in to the Scary Perry podcast. You guys have an amazing, amazing day. Happy 4th of July. Bye.